One of the key characters in the study of medieval Japan is the samurai. On the surface, these noble warriors would appear to be full of contradictions. The samurai were brave and fierce warriors, yet also wrote poetry and engaged in floral arranging. Samurai is the word for a Japanese warrior class, and for a member of this class. The Japanese samurai warriors came into existence in the 12th century when two powerful Japanese clans fought bitter wars against each other. At that time, Japan was ruled by the shogun, a military ruler. Under the shogun were daimyos, feudal landowners, local rulers like the dukes in Europe. The Japanese samurai were the military strength of the daimyos. In return for their loyal service, the samurai would be rewarded with land, status, and power. The essence of the samurai code of Bushido was total loyalty to the feudal lord, a willingness to give their lives in defense of their lord, his honor, and their own, a strict regimen of martial training, and a sternly refined etiquette that governed their actions and behavior in all things. Seppuku was part of Bushido. Harikiri means literally stomach cutting, and was the practiced form of seppuku. When done outside a battle, it was performed in a formal ceremony. Spectators attended the event. The act was a painful one. The person doing the harakiri had to slice up his abdomen. When finished, he stretched out his neck, and an assistant was waiting behind him and had to behead the suicide with one stroke of his sword. Reasons for committing seppuku were connected to honor and disgrace. One occasion for committing seppuku was the death of the lord. It was an expression of grief at one's master's death and was the utmost form of loyalty to the lord. Other reasons were punishment. Seppuku could also be a way of showing a disagreement with one's master. A frequent reason for committing harakiri was a lost battle to avoid the disgrace of falling into the hands of an enemy. War played a central part in the history of Japan. Warring clans controlled much of the country. A chief headed each clan, made up of related families. The chiefs were the descendants of Japan's imperial family. The wars were usually about land. Only 20% of the land was fit for farming. The struggle for control of that land eventually gave rise to the samurai. Fighting in battle was more than a job to a samurai. It was a way of life. Before battle, a samurai took a bath so he would smell good if he was killed. He took a while getting dressed. He would carefully examine his armor, swords, bows, arrows, and helmet before putting them on. Ancient war tales go into detail about the order of battle that often followed this pattern. They would meet at an agreed-upon place, date, and time. They would exchange messengers to officially announce a declaration of war. Then they would announce the name and lineage or family. Then there would be an exchange of arrows and pairing off into one-on-one battle. It is said that on the battlefield, samurai warriors would call out their years of experience in order to find a worthy adversary to fight. Ancient warriors developed weapons, armor, and a code during the ensuing centuries that became the centerpiece for the Japanese samurai. Early weapons included bows, arrows, and swords. Armor included a helmet that protected the head and neck, a breastplate that protected the chest, arm and shoulder protectors, and a belly wrap. Later, armor included protection for the legs and thighs. Though the katana, which was a medium-length curved sword, was definitely the symbol of the warrior class, mounted warriors on horseback with the bow and the arrow as their weapon of choice were considered the elite warriors in early medieval times. In the late 16th century, it became common for the samurai to wear two swords. One was long, the other short. The long sword, the katana, was more than 24 inches. The short sword, called the shoto, was between 12 and 24 inches. The samurai often gave names to their swords and believed it was the soul of their warriorship. The oldest swords were straight and had their early design in Korea and China. The samurai's desire for tougher, sharper swords for battle gave rise to the curved blade that we still have today.